Hello everyone, I welcome you all today to my YouTube channel. My name is Akash Purgali and I am a Microsoft certified Azure AI engineer, and today I am going to show you all as to how I have implemented email notification as well as integrated Cosmos DB using Mule application. Not only that, we are going to also see as to how you can secure your entire Mule app so that it cannot be used by any random X person. So without wasting any time, let me give you a quick walkthrough as to how I'm going to drive this session for you all. So firstly, we would try to answer these three questions as to what is API, what are RESTful APIs, followed by what is RAML. Then we would be seeing the overview of AnyPoint platform. This is a platform where we deploy our Mule application, like how we have Azure, GCP, AWS. Similarly, for Mule applications, we have AnyPoint platform. In this, we are going to see how RAML is created, how you can link your developed API to AnyPoint platform manager to manage API, then the deployment as to how you can deploy it. Then followed by we are going to have a code walkthrough as to how we have implemented this email notification as well as how we integrated the Cosmos DB into it. So let's try to answer our first question. What is API? Okay, yeah. So let me move our cursor here. What is API? API is nothing but which acts like a mediator between two applications, meaning it would try to transfer data from one place to another. Like these two application, let's say A, can communicate with B using API. This may be developed in Java, this may be developed in Python, but they both can communicate with each other using API. Second point I would like to talk about is it tries to answer what instead of how. Let me give you an example. When you go to a shopkeeper and ask for a chocolate, he directly gives you the chocolate. You don't have to worry about, or neither he has to worry about as to how this chocolate is coming from and where, right? So that's what I would like you all to know. Moving on to our next question. What is RESTful API? RESTful APIs are nothing but that are restricted by REST rules. So what are these REST rules? First rule number one, rule 1. It talks about method information should be expressed using HTTP verb. Now what is this? So it's trying to say that there are different methods which hold meaning. Let's say get. Get would try fetch data. There is something called as post. This would try to insert new data. There is something called as delete to delete data. Right? That's what rule number 1 says, that you use particular HTTP verb to do a particular type of a action. Rule number 2, it talks about scope. Sorry. It talks about scope. Meaning, let's say we have a URL in which there is something http colon colon slash API slash user slash user ID, and this is a delete is the HTTP verb here. So user, let's say 9, user ID is 9. So when one of the service provider receives this URL, it would first try to see what type of action I need to perform. It says yes, it's a delete operation. And what is the scope? The scope is restricted to particular user ID 9. So I need to delete this particular user ID which has the value 9 from the database. So this is how RESTful API works, and that's what it is. Moving on to our next question, what is RAML? It stands for RESTful Modeling Language, API Modeling Language. It is used to design RESTful APIs, which gets converted to actual implementation of the API. Hope I have answered all these 3 questions. Right, we are done with our first section, which is answering the 3 questions. Now coming to overview of AnyPoint platform. So let me take you all to the AnyPoint platform here. Okay, we have here. So this is a design center where we design our API, where we give title, base URI, triads. In triads, we have mentioned client ID required. This is a particular type of policy that we are going to apply to secure our application. So for that, we have defined this particular structure, and this we are going to use it in our resource. So what is the resource? As you can see, slash bot is my resource out here, where we give display name, description, and what type of a method that we are going to perform. As we want to send our data to a particular client via an email notification as well as store it in a DB. So we are using a post method. So it creates a particular type of a record into a DB as well as show it on the mail. That's why we are using this post method, and you can see to when someone hits this particular URL, it should be enforced with client ID. That's why we have used this client ID is required. Client ID is required. And what should be the body? It's a post method, so we are using a body over here that we are going to pass in country, which is of type string, intake year, degree, course, mobile number, email ID, and date. So all these are of type strings. Then how the example would look like? So yeah, this is the example that we give, so that it understand as to what how the request is going to come to us. And in responses, we have given a 200 response, which is okay, like things are fine, in which we have tried to give this example message that your message has been recorded, thanks once again. So this particular type of a design that you are seeing, based on this we are going to implement our mule code. You can also try to check here out as to how these things are going. So let's say you after creating this design, your client would test this application. So it would be having this. Okay, so try it. So let's try it using a mocking service. So let's give any, for now, random client ID and client secret, and try to test it out. So this is the request that we are going to send, and this is after sending this we should receive some output like this. So once our client verifies saying that yes, this should be the format and this should be the response that we should be having, then we start our actual implementation of our code. Now I would be moving to my AnyPoint Studio where we develop our application. So today I'm going to show you all as to how you can create a production grade code. So let's start from this main. So as you all can see, main is where we basically try to segregate our XML files into different XMLs, where it tries to hold different meaning. As main holds the entry point when someone hits a particular URL, right? So it comes here, and then it goes to the API kit router, and based on the flow, it it comes here to the logic flow. I would try to show you in a debug mode, so you will come to know as to how this entire flow is going. Okay, once I am done with explaining this entire code. So like this is a post method which has an resource named bot. So there is a payload that you receive, client, then there is a payload. Payload is nothing but the data. As you all can see, client name, right? It's a in a JSON format. To access a client name which hold this value XDS, we give this format payload dot client name. You convert it into a string. So this transform the message into a particular format, in whichever format you want it to be, as well as it tries to convert it into a number, and many such things. So in this way we are taking all the values in this dynamically and then storing it. Then comes the set initial payload where we are storing the initial payload, the entire JSON. What else we have? Yes. Then coming to we are logging it, the whatever the payload, and this is something called as parse template. So parse template is basically used to parse your data into HTML text in whichever format you want. As we wanted to set this into an email where it should be displayed in a HTML format, so we are seeing this email body. So let's try to see here as to how we have done this, because in email body there is a particular structure in which it holds dynamic values. So I have kept that particular file here, email body.html. As you all can see how our data should look like. New customer details, customer name, in this payload.client name should come. In country, payload.country should come. Intake year, payload.in. So in this way I have mapped this. So whenever the data comes, mule expression would validate on this and it would try to fit in that particular data that is coming from the JSON's response. So I have created this template, as you all can see, for to send a particular email notification. And you, as you all can see, that I have implemented try catch block here, so that if email gives an error, it should not stop our application, but it should move ahead and store it into a Cosmos DB. There are times when email app doesn't works properly, or due to some issue it may give us error, but because of which we don't want that data to be lost. That's why I am handling using a try catch block, which further goes ahead. As you all can see, as I had set my initial payload here, then I'm again setting that payload, because it would try to give us the error payload here, which I didn't wanted. I wanted to mask that. So I'm again setting the initial payload here, and then coming to set auth key. Now this is something important which we require to connect to our Cosmos DB. So before we jump there, I would like to show you all pom.xml file where we have used this dependency, okay, to implement a functionality, or you need to, if you want to integrate it to Cosmos DB, you need to add this particular dependency. Then in repository, as you all can see, I have added this Azure repository. Now coming back to our where were we? We were at logic, right? So in logic, we basically design our logic. That's why we have written all this entire logic here. So now we will come to this Java file. So this is a Java code that we have used. You can so there are many this class for to connect to generate this authorization token. We have used Java because Mule runs under Java. So we have in brought this Java code here where it tries to generate a token. As you all can see, this particular function, it's trying to take the verb, resource type, resource ID, key type, token version, date. So in string we are converting that verb to lowercase, then resource type again to lowercase, and in this way we are creating this shahamak. Okay, shahamak, it's used to encrypt that particular token, which further then gives us this authorization token, and this particular type method gets server time. It gives you the format of date. So these two functions we are trying to bring here in this set auth key. As you all can see that verb, resource type, resource id, key type, token, server, date time, everything I'm taking it this till token version, I'm trying to take it from properties file. So in future if any change comes, you don't have to touch this code, you have to only touch this configuration file that I'm showing you, which I have kept in this properties file. As you all can see, I have listed down the HTTPS listener port, and now here we have Cosmos DB details, where you can see there is a verb, there is docs, there is a resource ID, key type, token version, that I'm going to use it here. Yeah. So this variable Cosmos header would be in a JSON format having this server date time, which would be coming from this particular class, and auth key. So in a variable, this server date time would store that particular value, and auth key, as you can see, I am calling this particular function which would return with that particular string value. Now coming here to post user data Cosmos DB subflow, we would go to this reference flow out here. Yeah. So post Cosmos DB, there is a requester. So this comes under logic invoke. So from the name itself, we can understand that we are invoking a particular system or making a request. That's why we are given this logic invoke name over here. And every configuration we are storing it here. As you all can see, the HTTP listener config, HTTP request email SMTP, configuration properties, and all these things. We would be seeing this what is auto discovery here. Okay, so let me show you the requester configuration details. Edit. Hmm. Here we are taking the requester host name, port name. Okay, and is there anything else that I would like to show here to you all? Nothing as such. Yes. Yeah. So let's come to logic invoke. Now here, if we will see down here, so let's try to, okay, now we will open this dev app dev file, where you all can see there is a host name that I am taking here. Let's move to our Azure Cosmos Azure portal, where you all can see each and everything. From here, if you go to our overview section, you can find this URI, right? So this URI host name comes here with the port name would come under port name, and the path. So path we are setting looking at the this is the how our paths is been set, like customer, then info, like DBS, where we would give the name of what is our DB name, and what is the column collection name, that is info. So this is how you can give the details. Moving on, This is a configuration. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So payload, the normal payload, the JSON payload would come under the body, and let's check the headers out here. Okay, so how I can show you? Yes, great. So in headers, we are passing this authorization which is coming from vars.cosmos header.auth key. As you all remember, we had created a variable named cosmos header. From that, we need to access that auth key. That's why this is the particular expression that we type, and it requires accept where I'm giving it in a form of a JSON. So we have to write application slash JSON, the version, and DocumentDB partition key. In our partition key, if you will see, this is our partition key. Let me show you all. In info, items. As you all can see, this country is our partition key, right? So to to give this partition key, we have to encode this in a string, then payload.country. So in this way, we need to form a structure into headers and send our payload. As from in XMS date, we can see that vars.cosmos header dot server datetime is been pulled. Yeah, this is how you all can configure your details. Now, if we will see vars not okay. Let me go to something that I would like to show you all. Auth key is there. Yes. So as you all can see, this var key, it's a secured key. You can secure some of your crucial passwords in a form of encrypted. I can show you all that I have mentioned app underscore secure, where you can store email password in an encrypted format, Cosmos DB and key store value into an encrypted format, so that no one can access this email or Cosmos DB keys. Now, from where I'm generating this, so I would be sharing a particular link to you all as to how you can encrypt and decrypt these keys. You all can see, to run this particular application, we need to first encrypt those string values, giving a key with an encryption type. So for in my case, let me go to my config, global properties. There is something called a secure properties module. Edit properties. I am using AES algorithm to encrypt my key, to encrypt my passwords, you can say, string values, and the key, it's coming from the application, where I which as a best practice, we shouldn't be storing that secure key here. Instead of that, in run configuration, you can give that particular key. As you all can see, in environment, I'm giving this particular secure dot key. Here I'm giving that particular value. Hope you all have understood as to how I am doing this encryptions and all. Now coming to back to our this send. Yeah, this is this component. As you all can see, email ID would be coming from this app dev Akash. So this I have set this and this email ID. So from here it would be coming. logic. Yeah. Hmm. To address I have given I have given the same address, so basically it would send from there and it would get received so from the same, but you can add many or you can send to the person who is sending this particular details to you, right? The user you can add, depends on your business case scenario. Okay, apart from that, yes, content payload. So it would come into an HTML format. So you would see a beautiful HTML page on your emails. And we are setting here content type as HTML, encoding UTF-8 as it's in English, and setting the base 64. Now going deeper into the configuration. So here we are setting the host port address of the Gmail, and in advance as we are using an SMTP connection. So yeah, in so when you want to send an email using Gmail, this particular property you need to sell mail.smtp.starttls.enable to true. This was one of the thing that I would wanted to show you all. Also, you need to enable this less secure apps Gmail, so that this particular app can send notifications to you. So this second link, as it's set to on, so we are good here. Now let's try to debug our code and then we would move to our deployment phase. So without wasting any time, let's jump right into it. Okay, and these things, yes. Now, as we are running our code locally, this API gateway auto discovery, we need to comment or else it would give us error. So we would first, from source, we would add a block comment. So we have added a block comment. We would save this. Okay, and now we are going to test our bot from start. So coming from main listener, okay, here let me keep a breakpoints here so that you all will come to know as to how these things are going. Here add a breakpoint, payload, okay, send, add a breakpoint, then we would set here, and then we have last this. And we would be using Postman to test our API. So let me debug this. Till then, let me check what configuration it has here in config. Okay, for HTTP main, I need to go to main listener. It's HTTPS listener config, right? So HTTPS listener config, need to come to config here. HTTPS listener config, HTTPS listener config. Okay, HTTPS listener host. So we would be coming here, listener host. In common, we have kept that. So yes, it's 8082. Okay, so for now we would be keeping this aside. Okay, it's 0.0.0.0 colon 8082, right? Yes. Yes. Okay. For now, we'll come here and we would try to test one by one and then let it run uh, till now we are in body section. We can give any name here. Let's say Karthik would like to go to Canada in the year 2024, degree masters, who will be going for a course of for AI and ML. And give me and then here Arthik 90 and then gmail.com Tuesday. So let's see. Yes, our chat bot API has been deployed. So let's try to hit it and see whether the request comes here. Yes, our request has come here. We are trying to debug. As you all can see in payload, our data has been arrived, which we are passing in variable. Do we are we setting? Yes, there is a correlation ID here. Okay, then you can see. Yes, URI parameter, everything you can check. Headers, in headers, what all things we have? We have client ID, client secret, content type. Yes, everything we have. We will come here. Okay, payload. Yes, in what we are doing here, we are just setting, I guess. Yeah, there is a payload that we are converting into the respective formats. Like in intake here should be a number, mobile number should be in a number format. So, okay, fine. We would move ahead. Here we are setting the initial payload. You all can see this payload is coming in a JSON format having an ID. Right, this ID is nothing but that you all can see here, this particular ID. Right. Now coming to the payload. Yes, see now in variable size has changed to 4. What all things we have? We have initial message, initial payload, and correlation ID. Okay, fine, great. Now we are parsing that particular email body to an HTML format, so we receive an HTML notification. So let's go ahead. We are going to enter. As you all can see, the payload has been changed to, see, I will try to show you all in notepad. See, this is how we are creating an HTML page where we are giving the background color, what should be new customer details, it should be of tag h2, the height, color, everything. In customer name, as you all can see, it was able to dynamically add values here. In Canada, see in the intake here, it was able to add 2024 degree master. So so you saw that mule expression, right, that I saw shown you previously. So this is how it dynamically enters value into it because of this parse template. Now going ahead, now it would send the email notification to us. Hope the payload gets changed. Yes, so I guess it has been sent. So let's check our email just to see whether we have received that email notification or not. Yes, as you all can see, a beautiful email that has been sent to us saying that new customer details. This is the customer name, country, this is the email ID and stuff. This format we see here in email body. Yes, I have. In this is a mule expression from which that particular data that got added. And yeah, this is the particular structure which it tried to validate and give us. Moving on to our code back again. Now we are going to send our data to Cosmos DB. So we have set, now it's in an HTML format, but we don't want to send it into an HTML format. We are going to set the payload that we saved here. So see, now again we received this JSON data. In initial payload, it's taking from vars.initial message. So in debugger, if you will see in vars.initial message, we have this, right? So yeah, from there it was able to set that particular payload, and you all can see that we have logged also our payload. Okay, coming to mule debugger, set auth key. So from this auth key, we received Cosmos header. So in this Cosmos header, we all can see that there is a server datetime and auth key that has been generated, right? From that particular this class, it was able to generate that particular token from this generate function and this get server time. Coming here back again, mule debugger. Yes, I have explained this. And now we would be coming to this logic invoke flow where I would be logging this. Now coming here in request headers, as you all can see, authorization that we saw, it has been masked with this particular encryption token, except there is application JSON in partition key in a bracket. It has came Canada content type and this date that we were taking it from the class. So this was the thing that I wanted to show you. This is the particular path that it's been taking from this app dev. You all can see dbs slash customer calls info docs. This is how we have configured it. Now we would go ahead and insert this into our Cosmos DB. Okay, so let's go ahead and insert it. Yes, I guess our data has been successfully inserted. As you all can see, RID, DBS, such attachments, all this has been added to our response. And this is how we completed the flow giving this logs. As you all can see, at last it says us end of Cosmos DB subflow, and then it's giving us this payload, which we would mask it what we saw in the RAML, right, in API designer, which client approved. So yeah, that was your message has been recorded. Thanks once again, which would now be see in our Postman. Let's come to Postman. As you all can see, 200 okay with this message. So once you have tested and it's working fine, you now you would deploy. So when you are deploying, right, you have to make couple of things sure here. So now let me come to my, and I will stop this application. First thing that you would do is from this config, come to configuration XML, and you will try to remove this, not remove, basically unmask this, uncomment this code. That's what we call. Yeah. So control save. Now what is this API auto discovery? So this is something that we use to connect it to our RAML that we have created to so that we can apply policies to our chatbot app. For that, there is a particular ID that gets generated when you deploy your uh, or you share it to your exchange. I will show you. So once you publish your bot, edit specs. So from this, if you will publish, when you do a publish to exchange, right? Then after publishing, you need to come to API manager. In API manager, you need to manage that particular API that you have created. Not now. Manage API, you need to click on manage API, manage API from exchange. Here you need to give that application name saying that chatbot app API. Then yeah, everything gets loaded. Had to select basic endpoint, mule application, mule 4, and you can give your implementation URL afterwards. And you have to click on save. As I have done it, so I would be going back and showing you this. See, as you all can see, it's an active mode. Hmm. Now here, this is the consumer endpoint. So now before deploying, you need to take this particular ID, okay, so that it links. So API manager comes to know that actual implementation is done and whatever policies that I'm going to add should be added to that particular API. That this ID is required. So you would copy it from here, you would come here and in this dev auto discovery API ID you would add this. And let's check the config.xml in auto discovery. You give auto discovery.api ID and the flow name that would start from main. Now this was one thing before deploying you need to take care of. The other thing that we have is in this mule.artifact.json. In this you all can see in secure properties I'm giving this secure.key. What it does when you are deploying this before deploying this, when you import that particular jar file, like what I'm talking about jar, right? So I need to tell you. So you need to export and then yes, it should be deployable archive, then chatbot API, this is our project name, and then you create a particular location and you need to click on finish. So there is a jar file that's get created that we need to add to our runtime. In our runtime manager I would be showing you, there we need to give some properties so that our application runs. So in this case, whichever key that you used to encrypt those particular strings, right? As you all can see here in this app.secure, I'm encrypted this string so that so when it's running, that time it need to decrypt it and give those values there, and then the entire flow goes. For that, this secure key we need to give here, which masks there, means no one will come to know apart from you as to what key you have given so that your application is running. So let me show you here. uh, we need to go to runtime manager here. We need to go to manage application in properties section. As you all can see, this secure.key is been masked. No one will come to know as to what key that you have given. In that case, no, it won't run. Anyone would even download this particular code or try to manipulate. no one will come to know what are the keys. So this is how you can, you know, secure your passwords. And now we are going to see how you can add this client enforcement policies. And you have to also give this anypoint platform dot client id and client secret for the deployment. So when you go to sandbox active, okay, I will show you that as to how you can do it. Cancel, go back. This in deployment logs, cloud up, it started. Okay, so in exchange access management, yes, in access management you need to go. It's loading. Yes, so you need to come to environments. You need to click on sandbox, and then you get this client ID and client secret. So this client ID and client secret you need to give at in that properties section that I showed you back earlier. Okay, so now let's move uh, to our runtime manager. So here you would give that particular jar file as I told you. In this you will come here, you will choose a file here, upload a file. Okay, see this particular, for now I am not doing it as I have deployed. And then you click on manage application, that would be better. Then in property section you have to mention the secure key platform anypoint platform dot client id that we saw. Now here you would be pasting that client id and client secret, and this way your application would be in sync with the runtime manager as well as API manager that you all can see. Now in this API manager we would be doing client enforcement policies. Now in this chatbot API, it's always good to give a consumer endpoint and a label to create this app to get that client ID and client secret. So let me go to policies. In policies, as you all can see, I have added this client enforcement policy. Okay, so you can add many policies like cross, detokenization. There are many. For now, I have used client enforcement policy to secure my application. So to get that client ID and client secret that we are using here in headers, right? You need to go to exchange, click here, edit. No, not edit. Discard changes. Request access. So here you would be giving that, see it's coming chatbot API that we saw in that label, right? And then application chatbot app. You would be selecting a new application as you haven't created an application. So for now I have created it, and then if I do a request access, it would give me that particular request access client ID and client secret, which I would add it here as you all can see. Now let me give you an example saying that if I remove one letter also from this client ID, it won't validate. See, you would get an error response. See, could not. Okay, okay, sorry. I am using a local one. Let me give here. Okay, fine. Okay, so what is our okay? Hmm. Need to go back to my API manager and take that particular consumer endpoint. Okay. So this is our consumer endpoint. As you all can see, I would just copy this and paste it here. Yes. Now if I will try to send this, it would give me an error saying that invalid client. But now if I again give the correct, the missing letter, it would send the data. See, your message has been recorded. Thanks once again. So this is how you can secure your Mule application. Hope you all have liked as to how I have developed this Mule application, bringing this email notification as well as this Cosmos DB integration. Now coming to our Miro. Yeah, so we all saw. Yes, so we all covered this part. We saw how RAML has been created, how you can link the developed API to any point platform manager to manage API. We saw the deployment, how email, we saw the walkthrough with debugging as to how we are sending an email notification as well as integrated it with Cosmos DB. So please do like, share, subscribe to my channel. In my next video, I would be showing you all as to how I have created a chatbot using bot framework Composer in detail, as well as how you can integrate this particular Mule API into that. So please stay tuned and please do like, share, subscribe to my channel. That would help me grow and motivate me. Thank you all.